Hey, I'm a technician working on the vehicle today. Today we have you in for your service two, along with a swap here with the tires and the alignment of the vehicle. Just looking through the service history of the vehicle and the overall condition, there are a few things I wanted to mention to you. First things first, starting with the winter tires that we are swapping onto your vehicle. Two of your winter tires are at about 2.5 millimeters, about two. I see you're not even at that 3 millimeter mark, so you can see the tires are very bald. The other two are at about 4.5 millimeters. However, the DOT on your tire, meaning the date of the tire being manufactured, are from 2015. The tires are now 10 years old, and you can see the weather cracking starting on the tire tread itself. That being said, I am going to send you a quote to replace all four of the winter tires so you have no issues driving during this winter with these winter tires that you currently have. The all-season tires, however, measured in at about 7.5 millimeters. Plenty of life on the all-season, nothing to worry about there. Completing multi-point inspection on your vehicle, there were a few things to mention. Rear end suspension, everything did look okay. Working our way up to the front of the vehicle. During my road test, when I was driving the vehicle, I heard a creaking like noise from the front every time I went over speed bumps. When I started inspecting the suspension components, I found the compliance bushings on your control arms are one, starting to rip, as you can see in the back. Not only that, this portion of the rubber is starting to come out of the sleeve. So to give you a better idea of what I mean, this piece of rubber right here should be mounted to the surface, but it has now separated. And if we go to the passenger side, you can see the same effect. You can see that bushing is starting to rip. Right now, there's no play. However, if that bushing does rip, this portion of the arm will move back and forth every time you accelerate or brake. The weight, the movement is going to throw this wheel back and forth. That being said, we'd rather replace this now before it does fail. As you can see, the stretch marks are starting to work its way all the way up. We'd rather have that replaced now before the component does fail itself. Next thing to mention is going to be the condition of your cabin air filter here. There's quite a bit of leaves and debris, dirt, dust built up inside there. So I'm going to send you a quote to have this filter replaced today. Other than that, due by the age and mileage of the vehicle, the transmission fluid is due for a flush. The vehicle is now over 5 years old, over 100,000 kilometers. Just like the engine, the transmission does have a fluid in it that also needs to be replaced. Of course, it's not nearly as often. That being said, if we have it completed today, you will be good for another 5 years or 100,000 kilometers. The other thing to mention is going to be the coolant in the vehicle. Since your vehicle is a hybrid, you have two parts of the coolant system. One is the regular coolant that flows through the engine. Two is going to be the inverter coolant that flows through the transmission side. That being said, I'm going to send you a quote to have both of those serviced today as well, as you are due by the time and mileage of your vehicle. And last but not least is going to be the HVAC sanitation service, which is due every 2 years or 30,000 kilometers. And that's me for today to get your maintenance fee back up to date. Thanks for servicing with Oakville Toyota.